All right, so the next step is to find the, or to get the raster image that we're going to put behind the vector line work. And I'm going to do it rather simply. I'm going to use Rhino render. The reason I'm using Rhino render is because not all of you know Maxwell or whatever other programs we sometimes use. Brazil, V-Ray, whatever, huh? Yeah, not all of you know that stuff. But so if we use Rhino render, we can just use basic materials. It'll get the gist across. And then when you guys are tasked with developing your renderings for other assignments, you can use whatever you want to produce the raster work. So we'll need to assign materials to these, and I'm going to keep it rather simple for now. Under layers, basically I'm just going to make these concrete. I'll find some kind of metal material for the other stuff, and then I'm going to make the green panels something like a translucent glass or fabric or something like that. I'm not sure what I want to do with that yet. I'll probably just leave it gray. So for the... Yeah, these are on default. Okay. For the default layer... Oh, let me make sure this isn't on default. There we go. For the default layer, we can basically just select a material like this. I'm going to add in... Oh, darn. Under content. Ah, there we go. So I'm going to add in a concrete material, which I don't know where it was exactly. Environments? No. Yeah, we could use stone. So I'll just use a granite stone. It's going to be somewhat like concrete. So I'll just drop in granite stone on the default layer. On the pipe layer, I'll select that and add in another material. This one is under metal. I'll use silver. And again, guys, I'm not changing the properties of this at all, really. It's really just to simulate the idea of a raster image that you're going to put behind your diagram, your section, line work. And then on layer 7, this one I'm going to change to a, let's see, transparent. Yeah, sure, let's use emerald. Keep it green. And then the structure behind it, I'll also use silver. And then the ground itself, I don't know if they have a ground material as a base material. Let's just use wood. Cork, sure. Kind of looks like dirt. Okay. So without being... This is not a rendering tutorial, guys. It's not a rendering tutorial. I basically just want to get something, put it behind the drawing so that you can see a blend of the two. So I'm not going to explain all of the settings here. I'll just kind of get it set up and then we'll export it. So I do know, though, that it needs to be relatively large. I don't think I need to go super massively large. Maybe 1600 by 1200 would be okay. My background, I'm going to switch to a white. I'll try that out. Okay, so this is what I got. Theoretically, I probably could use something like that. I'm thinking I might want to turn the shadows down. We'll see. Let's go back into settings. Actually, I'm just going to pause through this till I find a setting I like. So I found the settings that I want. I just kind of lightened the. It still looks dark up on screen, but on my computer screen, it's not all that dark. I just changed the ambient color to be a gray rather than a black, and so the shadows are a little bit softer. That's all I did. So once it's here, I just get the JPEG and then I start processing it. So in the dump folder, I'll call this Axon section 222. And then in Illustrator, I can go through the process of placing it so my drawing will be on top of it, essentially. Now, I will say that this exercise is definitely not an exact exercise. Well, that didn't do what I expected. It's definitely not exact, so you're gonna have to kind of like squeeze it a couple of times from the grips to get it to fit properly. Wow, I'm lagging. So I'll just do a file place, and I'll grab the image I'm looking for. Make sure that it's on a layer that's behind all the line work. So I'll call this layer image, right click that, arrange it, send it to the layer, and then I can stretch it behind all the line work. So this is the part that gets a little annoying. Oh, I'm a little laggy. All right. Ooh. Wow, very slow. All right, I'm gonna pause through this till I get it fit right, and then you'll see it. Hold on. Okay, so I've got it to a point where now I have the overlay, right? So this is kind of simulating something that could potentially be a little bit sketchy. What you should be aware of is that the size of your image becomes very important. What I'm realizing at this point is that, well, A, the resolution's kind of poor, so it doesn't match that perfectly, but once you do have it set up, the density of the dots for certain components might not be worth actually drawing up. And so for me, what I'm probably going to do is turn off the hidden lines that relate to the pipes, particularly just because the size of my drawing is so small that that's too many dots to be worried about, particularly at this resolution. So I do, however, want to amplify the darkness and thickness of the lines for the slab, and so I think those are, yeah, this layer here. And so rather than 0.25, I'll switch it to like a 0.5 and see if that's reading a little better. Yeah, so that reads better. Okay, so then the last thing that I'm tasked with doing here is adding the section line work over top of my drawing, and then obviously filling it in so that you can see the hatch region at the edge, and then overlaying the diagrammatic components that I'm using for my drawing. And so I'm going to work offline for a moment to get it overlaid, and then I'm going to compare side by side the types of line work that you would want to use when you're using when you have a drawing like this that's paired up with a particular analysis. Okay, so what questions do you have so far? Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Do you guys understand the intent of this? Okay.